A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Mark. Some Sadducees, who say there is no resurrection, came to Jesus and put this question to him, saying, Teacher, Moses wrote for us if someone's brother dies, leaving a wife but no child, his brother must take the wife and raise up descendants for his brother. Now there were 7 brothers. The first married a woman and died, leaving no descendants. So the second brother married her and died, leaving no descendants. And the third likewise. And the 7 left no descendants. Last of all, the woman also died. At the resurrection, when they arise, whose wife will she be? For all 7 had been married to her. Jesus said to them, Are you not misled because you do not know the Scriptures or the power of God? When they rise from the dead, they neither marry nor are given in marriage, but they are like the angels in heaven. As for the dead being raised, have you not read the book of Moses, in the passage about the bush, how God told him, I am the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob? He is not the God of the dead, but of the living. You are greatly misled. The Gospel of the Lord. The Sadducees who approach Jesus today in the Gospel were a relatively small group of religionists in Jesus' day. They are only mentioned 15 times in the Bible, whereas the Pharisees, the ruling rabbinic group of the day, are mentioned roughly 100 times. We know that the Pharisees were legalists concerned with every commandment given in the law and with strict observance. In some ways, they, the Pharisees, were the enforcers, while the Sadducees were perhaps rationalists. But neither approach is truly adequate to ascending to God. The Sadducees tried to trip Jesus up by means of a reductio ad absurdum, that is, an argument that is intended to disprove a proposition by showing that it leads to the absurd or to untenable conclusions. Jesus concludes today's gospel passage by saying that they, the Sadducees, were sorely misled in their approach. One reason that they could not approach anything to do with heaven or the afterlife or believe in its existence, I think, has something to do with pride. They are the kinds of people, the Sadducees, who in matters of faith are so sure that they are right that they look down their noses at everyone else. They're trying to make Jesus look foolish, but in the end, it is they who truly appear to be foolish. One doesn't need to look too far beneath the surface of their religious posturing to see their sarcasm and realize that that sarcasm was really hiding something else, I think, a basic insecurity. The Sadducees in today's gospel make me think of a professor of philosophy I once had. I admired his learning, but not his pedagogy. You see, he relished putting us, his students, down, apparently to prove that he was far superior to us in knowledge. The university was a secular university, a non religious one, but I was required by my religious superiors to wear a modified Roman collar to school each day. Of course, I stood out, but I was not uncomfortable wearing it. One day, the professor in question quoted a scripture passage and then jumped on me and said, "You, tell me the chapter and verse. Where does it come from?" I knew the passage, but not the chapter and verse. Immediately, the professor, realizing that I didn't know, said, "Gotcha!" and then began to have a hearty public laugh at my expense. I wasn't offended. In fact, I recall chuckling myself. The only thing that little exchange exposed was how full of himself the professor was. It was all a game. In that little volley of intellectual prowess, he clearly won the battle, but completely missed the wisdom of the scripture that he was quoting. By the way, he believed in reincarnation and enlightenment, but not in the Christian concept of heaven. So, from the Sadducees today, we can learn something. It might be this: if we want to approach heaven on any level, we must do so not with pride, but with humility. God bless you and have a wonderful day.